We hear a lot today about the progress we're making towards electrification. Battery electric trucks are dominating the discussion at the moment, but they aren't the only alternative to diesel for reducing this industry's carbon footprint. Hi, I'm Jim Park. This is HDT Talks Trucking. Here with me to talk about the battery electric trucks and some of the other options for getting to zero emissions is John Zelasko. He's the Chief Sales Officer for FEV North America. He joins me from his office in Detroit. But before we begin, remember to follow and connect with us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single episode of HDT Talks Trucking.
Clariant's Technologies is a global leader in transportation technology, known for its family of innovative and leading brands. Our best-in-class capabilities, global scale, and extensive industry insight provide the technologies that keep the world moving forward. To learn more about Clariant's Technologies and its family of brands, visit clariantstechnologies.com.
John Zelasko, welcome to HDT Talks Trucking. It's good to have you aboard, my friend.
Thanks, Jim. Looking forward to the discussion.
So we got a lot to talk about here today in 10, 15 minutes. We're going to talk about batteries and hydrogen and diesel and alternatives to our vastly, wickedly polluting diesel trucks. Let's talk about some of the alternatives first. In the march toward zero emissions vehicles, can you tell us a little bit about FEV and the company's stake in the commercial vehicle market right now?
Sure, I'd be happy to, Jim. So FEV is a global engineering service company focused on sustainable energy and mobility solution development. So we have a wide range of customers ranging from vehicle OEMs to tier ones to regulatory bodies. And our stake in the EV market is that we support all aspects of EV application development. So this is everything from core powertrain, which is our founding roots, which we've been focused on for 40 plus years, to all other aspects of vehicle development as well. So vehicle body structures, interiors, ADAS AD solutions, and how they all fit together with the powertrain solution as well.
So you're right into it, right up to the handle then. You're in all sides of that market.
We're definitely supporting everything, a wide range of customers from startups all the way through the traditional customers.
Okay. Well, we're hearing a lot about the strides that electric trucks are making. The question on everybody's mind today is how long is it going to take before we see EVs making serious inroads into the heavy-duty side of the trucking industry?
It's certainly a great question, and I wish I had the crystal ball, no doubt. But I think it's going to depend on a number of factors. So certainly the cost side of the equation is very, very important. Battery cost has been talked about for many, many years as a driving factor to EV adoption in all application segments. What we see right now, based on some of the geopolitical boundary conditions, we actually see battery cost increasing. And had some discussions with colleagues yesterday on the order of 20% maybe short term across the next year or so. But we still see longer term that cost equation certainly coming down and moving towards further adoption. But there's also factors like charging infrastructure, for instance, and making sure that we have the infrastructure to support long-haul trucking activities, regulatory drive, and how quickly things are mandated certainly comes into play. Charging system differences between high-power charging and also fleet-based depot charging, certainly something to be considered in the infrastructure side of things. So many factors, also supply chain issues. If you think about the raw materials associated with batteries, for instance, how we make sure that we have appropriate supply chains in place to mitigate risk is certainly very important. We've seen lots of statements from a timing perspective, ranging from, I think you had a guest on from Volvo North America, who stated that their goal was all zero emission vehicle solutions by the 2040 timeline. So I'd say within the next 10 years, we certainly see some significant level of adoption, but exactly what that looks like from a percentage perspective and how that infiltrates the market in the future, I think is still a bit of a crystal ball.
Well, from a fleet's point of view, there's going to be a lot of decisions to be made before anybody lays any serious cash down for these things, for all the reasons you mentioned, with infrastructure and charging types, and it just goes on and on and on. Uh, what are you hearing from prospective buyers of battery electric trucks? Are they excited about them? Taking a can't wait to get their hands on one, or are they taking a kind of a wait and see attitude?
We're not so directly connected to the end consumer, but what we're hearing through the folks that we deal with on the OEM side of things, I think the technology ultimately is going to dictate the adoption from the end consumer perspective. So if we can get to those total cost of ownership targets, if we can have a very nice drivability associated with electric vehicles, I think that will ultimately just drive the end consumer buying decisions.
And well, they certainly got a lot of decisions to make, don't they?
They certainly do. Lots of choices out there, no doubt.
If you care to join us over on the audio podcast, HDT Talks Trucking, we're going to have a bit deeper discussion on some of the alternatives and some of the challenges, so you can dive a little bit deeper into that interview over there if you want to join us. Let's talk about some of the alternatives to battery electric. We've got hydrogen, we've got some hybrid arrangements, and we've got some cases where you're going to be using a little bit of both, diesel and electric, or hydrogen and diesel. It's all over the map. So how do you see some of those alternatives fitting into the market at this point? It's still early days, but people are thinking about it.
Yeah, I think there's a place for almost all of those solutions. So it's certainly not a one-size-fits-all marketplace, and I don't think it will become a one-size-fits-all marketplace as far as the crystal ball can see. So we certainly see short-term a lot of focus on still diesel engine development, hybridization of the diesel engine. We see H2 ICE as a solution, fuel cell a bit longer term, and of course the battery electric option as well. So it's going to be diverse. It's going to depend on a number of factors: range, drive cycle, infrastructure availability, energy cost, overall system cost, and that whole total cost of ownership equation. So lots of options, but I think most of those options fit various niche needs throughout the market.
Well, I hate to throw more options onto the table, but with hydrogen, we basically have two. We've got the fuel cell electric, and we've got the hydrogen internal combustion engine. How do hydrogen ICEs compare to fuel cells? Are there some pros and cons of each that you can talk about quickly, or maybe give us a hint of which way people are leaning on that?
I think we certainly see H2 ICE as the more near-term solution. It's based off a known technology solution in the ICE, shorter development time to convert over to an H2 ICE application, and also less risk from a durability perspective, for instance. But from a fuel cell perspective, there's certainly efficiency advantages, and longer term, we think that could be a viable solution for the Class 8 heavy-duty market, certainly.
Well, are we going to be building a new engine from the ground up, or can we convert the current diesels, or maybe convert current natural gas engines to run on hydrogen?
I think it will definitely be a conversion of existing platforms. And what we see is that a lot of OEMs are working from existing production natural gas platforms, already being spark ignited in nature, and being a bit of an easier conversion to get to an H2 ICE solution. I think based on the shorter term timelines, you won't see too much new development in that space, but certainly a lot of effort going into converting existing platforms to be able to run on hydrogen.
And there's probably alternative fuels too on the table. I don't want to get too deep into that, but renewable diesel, e-fuels, all sorts of things that we can pour into a diesel engine and make it burn a little cleaner.
And I think all the options are being considered at this time. I think everybody wants to have their foot in, we'll say, all of those potential technology solutions moving forward.
I guess so. So what about the venerable old diesel engine? It's going to be around for a while. We're obviously going to have to keep up with the emissions regulations. What are some of the promising technologies you see moving forward that are going to help us keep diesels in service just that much longer?
We certainly see a lot of focus, specifically from my perspective in the U.S. market right now on future diesel application development, especially for model year 24, model year 27 EPA greenhouse gas standards. You see a lot of work on combustion system optimization, different technologies to reduce friction, air management system improvements, after treatment development, certainly, and of course, different levels of hybridization that are working into those future diesel solutions. We certainly see diesel as the best total cost of ownership option short term, and to be determined how that all plays out from the TCO equation as we move forward. But short term, I think that will be the prime path for certainly many of the OEMs.
Well, it's certainly an exciting time to be in the engineering field when you're talking about heavy equipment, powertrains, and technology. I'm sure you're enjoying your time at FEV. I wish you continued success over there, and hope you guys are responsible for cracking some of these solutions at some point in time.
No, it's certainly a very dynamic time in the industry, and very much appreciate you having me on the podcast, Jim.
We've been speaking with John Zelasko. He's the Chief Sales Officer for FEV North America. I'm Jim Park. This is HDT Talks Trucking. John, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
And to our guests, thanks for watching. You can listen to the full interview with FEV's John Zelasko on our HDT Talks Trucking audio podcast. It's on all the major podcast platforms and on our website, truckinginfo.com/podcast. Please remember to follow and connect with us on social media. You'll find links to the various platforms in the podcast description down below. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any future episodes. HDT Talks Trucking is produced by Bobbitt Business Media. I'm Jim Park. Thanks for watching.